Hey friends, happy Wednesday, the 23rd of December. It is nice to be with you. I am Father Bill Hill, one of the priests at Holy Spirit Catholic Community. I'll give you a daily reflection, invite you to read the readings prayerfully. They're linked on the sidebar, and then turn off the screen, spend some time with God before moving on to everything else. Still Advent time in the church, time of watching and waiting. Purple up, purple on the altar, there we go. Advent wreath up. A couple more days. We'll have plenty of time to rejoice in Christmas, starting on the afternoon of the 24th. Let's still create that space in our hearts for Christ to come, a time of preparation. All right, hey, pay attention to the bulletin and to the website that have our Christmas masses on them. Those two early masses at 4 p.m., both at St. Cyril and Methodius and Our Lady of Sorrows, we are requiring face masks. We're expecting a crowd, just doing our best to keep folks safe. And then we have two other masses that are masks encouraged but not required. So please pay attention to that if masking stuff affects decisions in relation to Christmas. Look forward to praying with you at one of those four masses that we're going to offer in that Christmas Eve and Christmas Day sort of time. Okay, so we have what? Prophet Malachi, right? Nope, that's for tomorrow, sorry. We have Samuel, we have the story of Hannah, and then we've got Luke, which is going to echo that. I know I've made the resolution multiple times to focus more on the response of that first reading, and I fail over and over and over, but today it's actually really important. We get the narrative in the first reading of Hannah who brings Samuel as an offering to God, and then in the response we have the canticle, the hymn, the poem that Hannah would have proclaimed to God. Really pay attention to that because you're going to hear it picked up by Mary. Mary is free-form riffing on the canticle of Hannah. Remember, Hannah and her husband Elkanah, I think, I'm pulling that off the top of my head, were sterile, which in the ancient world, patriarchal culture, was attributed to the woman. And they're given the gift of a child, Samuel, and that's why Hannah gives the child back. And Hannah's canticle is all about reversal. And especially, I just invite us to maybe even imagine some of these situations. The bows of the mighty are broken, and especially those are instruments of war, while the tottering, those who can struggle to walk, gird on strength. The well-fed hire themselves out for bread, day labor, while the hungry batten on spoil, right? You think about plundering a city and you kick in somebody's door and you just eat all of the food out of their pantry, out of their larder. The barren wife doesn't just bear 7 children, but again, patriarchal culture bears 7 sons, while the mother of many languishes. And then I'm going to skip one. The Lord raises the needy from the dust, from the manure pile, the dung heap, he lifts up the poor to seat them with nobles. I can close my eyes there and imagine well-dressed nobles, and yes, they look like whatever, 13th, 14th century English people, but to imagine the poor people, smelling like the dung heap, covered in dust, and God seating them among the nobles. I mean, we could just imagine us as the poor and how it is that we are in that noble company, because that's the image of us being raised up in holiness and in relationship with Jesus Christ. So, now you're going to compare and contrast that with the hymn of Mary, right? Mary who casts down the mighty from their thrones and lifts up the lowly, filling the hungry with good things and the empty being and the rich being sent away empty. God who remembers those promises of mercy. So, spend a little bit of time praying with that Mary passage, that what's called the Magnificat. My soul magnifies the Lord. My soul gives praise to God. And especially just sit with Mary, the daughter of Israel, this woman filled with the Holy Spirit who is prophesying in her pregnant state with her pregnant cousin Elizabeth and speaking about God doing mighty things in our day. And not just holiness, but also about justice, about power, about inequality, and God finally remembering those promises. Let's make a little bit of space amongst all of the excitement, all the busyness, all of the to-dos, to sit watching and waiting for God to fully bring these promises into our midst in the human family in the coming of Christ. All right, friends, happy Wednesday. Many blessings to you. Read that reading, turn off the screen, spend some time with God. God bless y'all.